Novak Djokovic wins in straight sets. Andy Murray creates some magic down in Melbourne. That and a whole lot more here on Advantage Receiver. Hello everyone and welcome to Advantage Receiver. Well, yesterday was day 2 of the 2023 Australian Open. Let's go over all the action that occurred yesterday down in Melbourne. First up, Casper Ruud won in 4 sets. Casper Ruud looked really good yesterday. He was hitting the ball really clean. He did drop the third set breaker, but he did win a tough battle in 4 sets. So Ruud, the second seed, moves on to the second round. Novak Djokovic in straight sets. He won last night in straight sets. Novak looked really good, moving well. Didn't seem like the hamstring was bothering him. His forehand was really on point last night, but we'll have to see how the hamstring is going forward for Novak to see if he can sustain longer matches than last night. But he won pretty handily last night in straight sets. Andrei Rublev took out Dominic Thiem. Now, we know we want Dominic Thiem to get back to the way he was when he won the U.S. Open a couple years ago. But against a quality opponent like Rublev, it just wasn't going to happen last night. He was in the rallies a little bit, but once the match got further on, it seemed like Andrei Rublev was able to take care of business and took out Dominic Thiem in straight sets. Taylor Fritz took on Nicolas Basilashvili. Now, Basilashvili can really hit the ball. He can hit the cover off the ball, and that's what occurred last night. Fritz did win in 4 sets, but Basilashvili was hitting the ball really well, really solid forehand. Fritz had to really battle and serve really well in that match, and he ended up doing that and winning in 4 sets. We'll get to Murray a little bit later. Alexander Zverev won in 5 sets. Zverev did not probably want to play a 5-setter last night. He just came back from that terrible ankle injury he suffered at Roland Garros against Nadal. He was out the latter part of 2022, and coming back last night, he probably wanted to have a simple, quick match last night, but he did not. He had to battle and scratch and claw his way to a 5-set victory over Juan Pablo Varillas. Give this kid credit. He was in the challenger circuit. He never wavered. He never gave up. Kid from Peru, really good hitting. Solid forehand, really explosive off the ground, and Zverev had to earn every point he did last night, winning over a 4-hour-plus match against this kid from Peru, and Zverev earned it, but the positive thing about Zverev is that his ankle looks like it held up. He probably wanted to play a less than 4-hour match to open up his campaign at Australian Open, but so far so good for Alexander Zverev down in Melbourne. Then on the women's side, Muguruza. Garbiñe Muguruza is a 2-time Grand Slam champion, winning both at Roland Garros and Wimbledon. And last night, she just crumbled. I mean, I can't put it any more direct than that. She crumbled last night, was up a set, 6-5, serving for the match, and she lost her serve, and then she just got blitzed at the end by Elise Mertens. Mertens is a good quality opponent, top 30 in the world, really good player, but Muguruza had the match on her racket, and she just fell apart. Her losing this match, now she's going to fall to the top 80, and clearly Muguruza's not. There's not 80 players better than her. That's not true. But she has just really struggled the last couple of months, last couple of years actually, to get back to the form she was. So huge disappointment for Muguruza in the opening round. Leylah Fernandez. Now this is a match I penciled as a potential upset, and I think I had every right to do so. Elise Cornet has really taken out some heavy hitters in Grand Slams, including Sabalenka and Swiatek. So a tough first round for Fernandez, who's never won a match in Australia, the Australian Open. She's never won a first round. So for this to be her first round match, that's a tough draw for the young Canadian. But she get through that beautifully in flying colors. A 7-5, 6-2 win over Cornet. Really good win for Fernandez. So definitely looks good going forward. But you know, she's got a lot more work to do. But a really good solid win in the first round for Leylah Fernandez. Ons Jabeur had to get tested last night. She won in 3 sets. She looked good against Zidansek. Zidansek really was playing well. Zidansek won the second set in a tiebreak, and then Jabeur turned it around in the third, won 6-1 in the third set. Zidansek won the first game in the third set, and Jabeur turned it around, won 6-1 in the third. So definitely a good test for Jabeur, but she got through it solidly in 3 sets. So let's see. I want to keep an eye on Linda Fruhvirtova, 17 years old, from the Czech Republic, good on both sides of the ball, and she's got a good chance to maybe go to the third round. She's in the second round against a qualifier, Kimberly Burrell from Australia, and Kai Kanepi was supposed to be there. Kai Kanepi lost in the first round, which is a kind of a surprise. So keep an eye on the 17-year-old from the Czech Republic, Linda Fruhvirtova. Good chance to get to the third round, and possibly could go against Ons Jabeur in the third round. And then the match of the day, clearly the match of the day, was Andy Murray versus Matteo Berrettini. It looked like, it might have been a match for Berrettini to take because, Berrettini, he was in the semifinals last year against that match against Nadal. Murray obviously is in the later stages of his career. Berrettini is the younger player. He's been playing better the last couple of months, so you figure Berrettini would get through this one. And it just didn't happen in the early going. Murray won the first two sets 6-3. He was moving really well. Murray was playing exceptionally well. And Berrettini just could not find his game. He couldn't find his forehand, missing a lot of shots. And Murray was taking advantage of that, winning the first two sets 6-3, 6-3. But then Berrettini turned it on, winning the next two sets over Murray, including a fourth set breaker. Then in the fifth set, it was back and forth. And then Berrettini actually had a match point on Murray's serve. Murray was serving at 30-40. And Berrettini had a match point. And Murray hit a kind of a not so good a drop shot. And Berrettini had a square, easy backhand pass. And he just missed it. He hit it right into the net. And Berrettini never recovered. They got to a fifth set, super tiebreak. And Murray wins on a net court. Shame of that match to end that way. But Murray battles. And Murray creates Murray magic in 5. Murray advances in the fifth set over Berrettini. He waits potentially Tosanasi Kokkinakis. He could play him in the second round. Kokkinakis supposed to schedule to play today over Fabio Fognini. They had to stop the match due to the rain last night, but they'll resume their match today down in Australia. So that's definitely what happened yesterday on day 2. A lot of good stuff last night. Clearly the match of the day was Murray and Berrettini. Nearly a 5-hour battle between those two, and an exceptional battle by Berrettini, but Murray just was able to come up with the goods when it counted at the end and advance in that one. So some matches to look out for today. On the men's side, you have Oje Aliassime's in action. Like I said, Kokkinakis has to finish his match against Fognini. Nadal versus Mackie McDonald. Nadal, he got tested early against Jack Draper, but was able to pull through because of Draper cramping up later in that match. But Nadal's got a good match against McDonald. So McDonald had to battle 5 sets against Brandon Nakashima. So we'll see if Nadal plays today. He should be the favorite going today, and hopefully he plays a little bit better than he did in the first round. Of course, Tiafoe's in action, as well as Tsitsipas and Daniil Medvedev against John Millman. It's a tricky match for Medvedev. John Millman, of course, is the guy who beat Roger Federer at the U.S. Open a couple years ago. So Millman can play. It's a night, so it's going to be a raucous crowd for Millman, who's from Australia. So we'll see how Medvedev handles the pressure in that second round match tonight. And the women's side, a lot of matches that weren't left over from yesterday, players today. Sloane Stephens is playing today, as well as Sakari, Swiatek, Pegula, Madison Keys, Quinyon Zhang, Danielle Collins, Rabakina. And, of course, the big marquee matchup we're all looking forward to tonight in the late night session is Coco Gauff versus Emma Raducanu. Really tough match for Raducanu, I think, but it's a good test for Raducanu and Gauff. So we'll see who wins that match later on tonight. Big stage for Raducanu. See how she's playing since her win at the U.S. Open a couple years ago. And Gauff, one of the favorites, definitely looks to get tested tonight against Raducanu. We'll see how that goes tonight. All right. That is going to do it for the Day 2 recap of everything that happened down in Melbourne. Leave a comment down below. Who are you looking forward to watching on Day 3? And I'll see you next time right here on Advantage Receiver.